スタジオ3万
Right, it's starting recording. Sean, would you like to intro, seeing as, you haven't done it in a while?
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the Nerd OD.
I mean, that was fine.
You can tell it's been a while.
Right, hang on, let me sit up, let me focus.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Hello, and welcome to the Nerd OD podcast. I'm Sean.
It's actually Sean.
I know.
Yeah.
Welcome back, sir.
We have a special guest I brought with me, Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Can we introduce ourselves too, me and Reg?
No.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, as soon as you say it's a Nerd OD podcast, you know we're here anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely a Dan and Reg.
How is everyone?
Awesome.
I'm
Very
even
good.
better for hearing your voice, sir.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I've been dabbling. I've been playing around with crypto and stuff, and now I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. A couple of episodes ago, I filled Reg in on. I shouldn't say filled in when I'm talking about what we're talking about, but I filled him in on your what's it called again, Sean?
Cummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it as if it's a joke, but you have made several tens of £1,000s on it, so good for you.
I mean,
well done, sir.
when I read about it, I was like, hang on, are you actually talking about like anonymous payments for porn on the internet, and this isn't currently a thing? Are you mad? Of course I'm going to put all my money in this. Of course this is going to be popular.
Yeah.
And it was.
It makes sense. And I hear you've spent all your profits on a robot.
No, Jesus.
No.
The first thing I did was pay off all my debts. So all my debts have gone now, which is exciting. I
That's
booked a
great,
holiday
that's
to Disney. I booked a holiday to Disney that I'm probably not going to be able to go on because of stupid COVID. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought a robot. His name is Mo Greengrass. He's like an outside Roomba.
I'm pretty sure
not
your
a
last
sex
one was
bot,
called
then.
that.
It was. This is Mo Greengrass too. If you remember from our earlier podcasts, specifically one of the first videos we ever did, it was a gadget show, wasn't it? We were watching the Honda outside Roombas. It was just falling over.
Yes, I do remember.
So yeah,
You were fascinated by the fact they would go and park up and live in his little house.
I was absolutely fascinated by that. And I mean, I've been getting well into technology recently. We went to London last week. I know we're getting into this quick, but I found it really exciting. Amazon Fresh. You heard of Amazon Fresh? Alex, have you heard of Amazon Fresh?
No, I've not, mate, no.
So it's imagine, if you will, a Tesco Express. A little bit bigger than a Tesco Express, but with fresh food in it, like a bit like a Lidl. You know, when you go in and you've got all their like breaded stuff and their croissants and things like that. But they also have like cleaning stuff. Like this was the one we went to was in White City, which is across the road from the BBC studios. So all the famous people live there. I was looking for Alan Partridge, couldn't find him. So yeah, it's one of those shops, but with a fresh bit inside it as well. But the interesting thing about it is you walk in. You have to scan your app to get in. So you go onto the Amazon app and then go to the Amazon Fresh button and it gives you a little barcode. So you scan that in. You walk around, you pick stuff up. You either put it in your bag or you put it in your backpack or just carry it. It doesn't matter. And then you literally just walk out. It's mind-boggling. So how it works is there's cameras everywhere. There's AI watching you the second you walk in. There's scales on all the on all the shelves and stuff. Yeah. So it knows when you pick something up. There's a couple of rules. So if I'm going with you, Dan, for example, and you haven't got your phone with you, I can let you in first and then follow you, and anything you pick up will go onto my app.
Right. Yeah.
So that's clever. All they say is don't give your items to someone else because it's not tracking that. Right. So if you so say for example, if I pick up a sausage roll and hand it to Dan, I've still paid for that sausage roll. Yeah.
I would throw it on the ground and go, why did you give me meat, Sean?
But also you can put stuff back. So if you think, hang on, I'm vegetarian, I don't eat sausage rolls. So I can put it back and I haven't paid.
Some videos of people going in and they're like, oh, how does this work? And let's test, let's see if we can beat the system. I'm going to pick up a Mars bar and I'm going to put the Mars bar back and we'll check later in the video to see if refooled Amazon. Now, I saw that and thought, there's no way that it would work based on weight. Like, that's why, because they could probably, I mean, I suppose they'd have to put, my way of thinking is there would be some kind of tag on everything that as you walk through the exit, because you've been to Uniqlo in Manchester, right?
Yeah.
So Uniqlo now, you get your basket, you put your clothes in, and you go to the tills, and literally you put your basket
big white box
in the little box, and it goes, here's all your items. It's got tags on everything, and it just scans everything and goes, here is everything, and then you pay, and you've done no scanning anything. It's just like it's NFC type stuff. So I figured it would be like that.
It's not just weight; it's weight and AI. So the AI is watching where you are, and if it watches you walk up to the Mars bars, and then it sees that the Mars bars are lighter, it's going to go, Dan just picked up a Mars bar. It doesn't just tell you what you bought; it also tells you how long you've been in there, which is clever. Right. So it's
in the back of my mind, all I see is a CCTV camera following Sean everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a drone.
Well, no, because I've been reading about it, and they're also tracking like custom habits, like how long someone stands next to a product and whether they buy it or not, and that tells them whether they should reduce the price or not. So if they see somebody just walking in, picking something up and leaving, it's like, right, that thing's popular, we can put up the price. But likewise, if they see someone walking up to a thing, standing there looking at it for a while and then walking away, it's like, okay, do we need to make this cheaper?
They see me standing at the meal deals for about 10 minutes going, I can't decide what to eat, and then that would feed the Amazon algorithm. This person is indecisive.
What was funny was, I mean, they're doing this. The Amazon have said they're doing trial by fire, so they're proving that it works by just throwing themselves into it, and any loss they're taking on the chin.
I can't imagine the loss is any worse than shoplifting, which
absolutely
is
not.
actually really difficult because you can't get in without Amazon.
You can't. Yeah.
You can't get out either unless you scan out. So.
Oh no, you don't have to scan out. That's the other thing that's really clever, because the second you walk in, it's watching you. So when it sees you walking up to the exit, it's like, oh, I'm going to let Sean out.
And I suppose you'd be stupid to shoplift there anyway, because you're definitely on camera.
Well, yeah, and you've also scanned in with your app, so someone's paying.
If you know what I mean? The fence or something, and someone didn't notice, the cameras are going to get you.
Oh yeah, they've got I say security. They've got a lady showing you how to scan.
They've got a cardboard cut out of a policeman in the window.
They did have, though, when you walk in, they do have security standing by the alcohol area, which I'm guessing is just to stop kids going in. But other than that, there was about 3 staff wandering around, just stocking shelves, talking to each other. They're just chilling out. But
sounds like they've got house elves doing everything else.
That's it.
Dobby is a free elf.
Next time, leave a sock on one of the shelves.
I've got a very specific question. What's the uniform for the Amazon workers in there?
Oh, they had like these grey, like they look like this, that soft fabric stuff, the spongy fabric.
Yeah,
it was like a grey fabric of that. It looked quite posh. Also, they had merch that you could buy. Amazon Fresh. They did Amazon Fresh reusable bags, but like posh ones.
That's not merch. That's a supermarket.
It wasn't. They were a tenner. And also they had these bottles as well. Water bottles, the refillable ones. They were 15 quid. It's like, Jesus Christ. But there was a whole merch section.
If you see any, like, in the drink section, if you see any yellow liquids, just be careful. It's not one of the Amazon employees having to take a leak in a bottle. I've heard that's a thing.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Left it lying around. I'm not in Amazon Fresh. You're making me explain the joke now, and then it ruins it all. But in the warehouses, they apparently all just wee in bottles because they're not allowed.
It's the drivers as well, isn't it? It's the drivers.
Everything, yeah. They're on such a tight schedule. They've not got time for toilet breaks.
Well, I watched a TikTok the other day of a man that worked up one of those, those big cranes, and apparently because it takes him so long to get down to the floor, he just has a bucket up there.
Just open the door.
Yeah, a bucket.
Just open the door.
Open the door.
They've got Captain in it.
Like when it's a cold winter night and you're in a tent and you wake up dying for a piss, and then you just do the zip a little bit and just poke out. That's what you need to do.
I would never do that, but I've definitely no. So you at least come out and go around the side of your tent, right?
No, you stick it out.
Depends how
you stick it out like a
cold I am.
periscope, just like a Russian periscope. You stick it out.
Russian periscope.
And that, Sean, is why you had to buy your own tent instead of my tent when you went to the festivals.
Make the noise as well. Boop.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't you, because you bought like a one-man tent, right?
I did, yeah.
And you didn't bring an inflatable bed, so didn't you try and use your inflatable couch as your air mat?
Yeah.
Inflatable couches,
What was funny was I nearly
are about a foot off the ground.
Dan, you joke. I nearly died. I nearly fucking smothered myself to death because of the fact that there was no like. I pretty much made it airtight.
Yeah, top of the tent. I remember.
So the void you must have had on top of that couch must have been like a coffin.
Yeah, it was.
Should we introduce Alex properly?
I think it's been on.
Yes, but a long time ago. So, Alex, you're here. You know, because you've just been you've just taken part in Nerd IQ, which we won't give away how well you did.
Okay, that's fine.
But also you've got some big stuff happening at the moment, right?
Yeah. Well, on a very small personal note, I just got married. It's our third attempt.
Oh, did you?
I had COVID pneumonia in December. I nearly died after 4 days of being in hospital, and now I'm running the second year of the Isolation Film Festival, and we've had more submissions from all over the world. Argentina, we've had great animations from Japan, and we've got amazing judges, and I'm also running the Hellbound Horror Festival again in October.
Alex, I had no idea. Congratulations, and I'm
Thank
glad
you very much.
Pulled through. Jesus Christ,
it is crazy. Yeah, thanks.
How are you coping with everyone on Facebook being like, "Who's Smith"?
Well, Facebook I only use for work and festival stuff and all that.
Yeah, good.
So I'm like, I used to be not anti-Facebook back in the day because when did it really kick off? 2005, 6, something like that. And I was part of this. Actually, I won't say that because you'll probably get flagged. But there was a religion that has movie stars associated with it, and I had this anti-group, and then I was getting abuse from people from that group.
From Tom Cruise?
Yeah, if you want to put a nail on the coffin, yeah. So I basically, since that point, I became very savvy of social media, and I kind of that's why you didn't know I was getting married, Sean, because I don't put anything on.
Wow.
I just use it as kind of a billboard now.
Yeah, also, one of our, I won't go into too much detail, but one of the kids we used to go to school with, he's not a kid anymore, he's terrifies me to think he's nearly 40, but started getting really stalkery, so me and Pete Carvel had to like block 16 of his accounts that he made. And,
I want to discuss that later.
Yeah. His initials are MS.
Oh my god! Right, I might still need to chat later.
Absolute psycho.
Wow.
Anyway, carry on.
So yeah, things are more positive this year, and I'm currently sweating my nuts off in my office. So that's me.
Okay. I mean, that seems like your choice.
Yeah. I've been wearing shorts all day, but it's just not enough.
Oh, it's one of those days today where it's like, yeah, it's not shorts weather, and then then you go out, and then suddenly, oh no, now it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm going on a little holiday. I'm going. I want to say abroad, but apparently I'm not allowed to say abroad because Wales is not technically another country. And like, it so is. It might be part of the United Kingdom, but Wales is still abroad. I'm sorry, I'm taking it.
Yeah, it is. They're doing much better with COVID as well, incidentally. So,
I mean, wait till I get there. We're doing a little tour of Wales.
I thought you shouldn't be allowed in.
I thought you couldn't say abroad because it's a derogatory term for a woman.
Maybe.
See, it's a comedy. That's why we need him.
That's it.
That's why we need him.
Yeah, we're going for ice cream. Going on a 5-day holiday around Wales to go and have ice cream.
Cadwaladers?
No. Holgate's ice cream. Holgate's honey ice cream in Towyn.
Isn't that Isn't that what you taught me?
Yes. Yeah. And the place that whenever I take anyone there, they have an ice cream and they're like, oh my word, this is amazing. And immediately go and buy another. Not exaggerating. 3 different people I've taken who have both ended up buying 2 ice creams because it was so good.
I didn't buy 2.
You bought 2.
Did I?
Yes. And I don't blame you. Because they're amazing.
There's a great car boot in Towing.
But not on the day we're going. I used to live relatively close, you see, and we used to go to the market every now and again. But yeah, unfortunately not. Oh, and this is Towing, T-Y, not T-O. So this isn't the one by Rail, this is the one by Everest.
I got it mixed up. Sorry.
But there's still a good car boot down there, coincidentally. But anyway, that's beside the point. So your film festival. So the point you're at now is you've had all your submissions, right?
Yeah, this is game time now for curating the films and making sure the judges see everything they need to see, because we have to whittle it down because there's so many submissions, and this is spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't. Basically, not the judges can't see all the films because we've got one DP or director of photographer from South Africa that's working on a documentary, so they're all very busy people. And when it's like kind of industry, film industry types, it's you can't kind of abuse that kind of time they're donating to us. So we have to curate the films and score them, and there's a whole raft of.
That's similar to what you did with us, though, right?
Yeah, it's a similar process because it's imagine I sent you 120 films, you would start not enjoying the process. So we're not about building relationships, permanent ones with the judges, but we've got good working relationships from last year. Yeah. So yeah, we've got quite a complex scoring system, and it's subjective and objective. It really is difficult, and we've had experimental films this year from India, South America, all over the place, and it's how do you score an experimental film, because it's up to interpretation. So I've been stressing about that, but the judges have got all the films now, and we've had some absolutely wonderful pieces of work, and it's amazing to see how creative people get, considering the world we're in currently, and especially from the experimental films we receive from India, because they're
really struggling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been amazing. I think personally, 1 or 2 of them are exceptional, like really exceptional, like the best film winner last year. It's a fun process, but the admin is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you've got to create, bespoke emails and be, I'm 100% genuine with all the filmmakers I speak to. I don't there's no kind of hidden truths or anything like that. It's just try and make it as fun as possible with every single interaction, and that's kind of exhausting. But it is fun in the end, and the satisfaction I get when you get an email saying thank you for doing this. It's helped me focus creativity during COVID and all that. It's been pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
How many films do you typically have to go through with something like this?
Last year there was a film festival in Canada called the Isolation Short Film Festival, and people were applying to both thinking it was the same thing.
Right.
So we got, I think, 120 last year. This year we got, I think, we got a very good number, over half, just over half of that. But I worked it out, and it's actually a really good return, because we had most of the people, I'd say 90% of the people were new filmmakers. But our growth in terms of social media, it's small, but it is continuous.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Netflix for the last 6 weeks. It's small gains, but it's been pretty decent, and the range we've got is incredible. And the fact we've had submissions from new countries is a big deal to me, like Argentina and Japan. That's been amazing.
Wow.
I mean, I suppose last year you've also got the fact that everyone was isolated.
Yeah, everyone was locked up in their zombie house, ready for the apocalypse.
And it was right at the peak of people being like, right, what can I do? I'm going to be creative. I'm going to do this. Everyone, making films, everyone launching podcasts, anything they could do to, not go crazy. So
can I ask you guys a question about lockup or isolation, is what one thing did you kind of focus your energy on or get obsessed with at home?
I mean, this, I suppose, more than anything, it was like, right, let's, I think Nerd OD as a whole has changed quite a lot in the last year, and we've sort of built up a lot more going on. We started the D&D podcast, things like that, Nerd IQ, had got a lot more video content out there, things like that. So that was where I focused all my energy, really. I don't know.
I came up with an unhealthy addiction to Fortnite.
Fair enough.
My left arm is now stronger than my right arm.
Like that chap from Family Guy. When he walks out, where's he been all day? And he turns around his massive arm.
Just a little bit. I got addicted to another D&D podcast, which I won't name. But we've just worked out that I've spent just shy of 700 hours.
Wow.
Watching/listening to it.
While you're working, though, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Obviously, I homework and obviously having a little one, so I don't really get to go out at night. So it's literally here all day, every day. I'm either at this desk, as everyone knows, or I'm literally 3 foot to my left on the couch instead. That's about as far as I travelled that entire time. So it was just.
I've got a question about D&D. Can you get into it now if you've got from zero?
We did.
Yep.
I mean, so
100%
of our group, we've got a DM who does nothing but RPGs and tabletop gaming and stuff. That is his thing. You've then got Reg, who listens to a couple of podcasts. You got me, who's never ever done anything like this, and Sean has played once, right?
Once.
Yeah, and I think Dave had a semi-regular game. So one person massive on it, one fairly big, one has never tried it but listens to a lot, and then 2 of us who have no idea with it. So the first few episodes, it's kind of funny hearing us not have a clue what's going on and have to be guided by the DM. I mean, we've just started because we've got our Dungeons and Dragons campaign that we're going through, and we're about 25 episodes in. We've just taken a break on that while one of us can't play, and we're doing Alien RPG. But with that one, none of us have a clue because it is a totally different game. Even the Dungeon Master is sort of muddling through it. So that one is we're getting the whole sort of the learning phase again. Recorded on pod, which is really good.
So much fun, isn't it? And
it is very good. It's a lot more getting in character because we're in the Aliens universe. Like the game we're playing at the moment is on Hadley's Hope from the second film, and it's just before everything kicks off. So one xenomorph has been found on the planet. So we know what it's like. We know what the world's like. We know how the characters are. So everyone is properly into their character. Like everyone's, that
sounds awesome.
It's so good.
I think once you get dropped into kind of the Alien universe, like that piques my interest. It'll pique so many people's interest.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, it did ours anyway. It's a really fun little thing to do as a side. It was just we didn't want to stop making D&D style stuff. So we thought, what can we do in the meantime? And Doddy's had this Alien RPG, and he was like, let's do this, please. Can we do this? Like,
honestly, Alex, what's amazing about this game is the fact that, like, with Dungeons and Dragons, you're very much cooperative. You've got one goal, and you all want to team up and make shit happen. The way that this game has been designed, this Alien RPG game has been designed, is your character starts to panic. You've all got ulterior motives that conflict with each other's, and you're all reacting in different ways. So like it's getting tense because like say Dan will do something, and my character, because of something that I don't want to go too much into it to spoil stuff, but because of one of my character traits, I'm like, I need to stop Dan from doing that thing that he's doing. So it's sort of like Mexican standoff, me pointing the gun from the enemy over to my own teammate, and we're actively having that conversation on pod about, are you mad? Are you doing that? What, like, and he's coming at me being like, are you actually telling me not to? Like, it's getting tense, but for really good reasons.
You got me excited about that. That's awesome.
When we're doing D&D, I find it kind of difficult to do a character. You know, I've not gone into it thinking, right, my character is going to be like this and this and this and this. So I don't know, my character is just very like me. Okay, it's my character's Lord Sugar. He's literally Alan Sugar. So at least I've got something to base it on.
Yeah.
But I feel like it almost hasn't quite got anything different about it. Whereas when you're playing on the Alien one, your character is made for you, and it says this: you like this person, you hate this person. This is information you know that no one else knows. This is something you're going to need to do. This is your ultimate goal. So you've got something to work towards. So that's a lot better. Having that just written out and spelled out, that is your thing.
And of course, when Dan's playing, he's playing knowing who his character is. But when I do something that Dan's like, hang on, are you mad? Like, you know, that's a real reaction. And you know, going back to Dungeons and Dragons is going to be to D&D is going to be tricky because like my character in D&D is like, you know, a bit
Mental.
of a dickhead, but you know, she likes to sort of stay away from the group, but essentially she is part of the team. You know, essentially she wants the same things that they do, so you know, she'll save them begrudgingly. But you know, with Alien RPG, it's this Alien game, it's like we're against each other. It's amazing.
That sounds awesome. I'd like to listen to that actually.
The first one is up already. It'll be on a new podcast feed from next week though, but it's on our Facebook and YouTube. It's Rolling One is the series name, and then this is just the Alien RPG season, not the season 2. So yes, go and have a listen, everybody at home, because it's awesome. And to be honest, I think I'll be better at D&D when we go back to it, because I've had this.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Like there's something about my character that you guys don't know about that I need to do.
Yeah, same.
And it's things like it's just having that in my mind all the time, going like, right, at some point this has got to come up. So knowing, I don't know, that's something I feel like I want to bring into my D&D character. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be even better when that all comes together.
You got me all jealous now. I want to be part of this.
Well, I mean, you know, we're definitely going to be doing more, 100%.
Yeah, well, once we've done that, we've only got one more episode to finish Hadley's Hope, haven't we? And then there's another Alien RPG session, another story we can do. And to be fair, there's 4 characters in this, but we're only using 3 of them. So we could always get you in as a guest on a few other episodes.
Would love to do that.
Fancy that?
Yeah.
Sweet. Ah, dear.
Can I just plug a podcast I listen to?
No.
I mean, it's
If
not
it's ours.
Nod Network.
No, it's I think you guys will really like it. It's called the podcast is called Live Long and Podcast, and it's Star Trek Radio Theatre. So there's a group of actors in Canada and all over, and I was on one of the episodes where basically they pull one of the episodes apart, any of the Star Trek shows, any of the episodes, and everyone that's involved picks 2 or 3 characters, and they basically mix all the audio and the effects and everything live as it's being read out. And I played Gulda Mar from Deep Space Nine. And he's one of my favorite characters from Star Trek, so I was very happy about that. But yeah, it's a really good fun show.
Awesome.
Interesting.
We were talking
Star Trek as well.
A while back. We were talking about doing a sort of a radio play type thing. Dave had the idea of the zombie apocalypse one, didn't he?
That wasn't Dave's idea. That was my idea.
Was it your idea? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a great idea. And you know, thank Orson
It just takes
Welles.
a lot of writing. That's about.
Listen to that Orson Welles War of the Worlds. That's a great example of doing it right. And he did that in 1940 or something. So
what I wanted to do was start it off, and for the first couple of episodes, actually be quite boring with it, and like just play it off as like a normal podcast where we're just chatting, and then like one episode just bring into it. Like, did you see that news report the other day? It's really weird. Like,
idea,
it genuinely feels like a zombie apocalypse apocalypse thing, and Dan being like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? And then like we leave it for another episode, and then like sort of Shaun of the Dead style, like be like, I went to the shops the other day and people were just acting really strange, and then it just progresses and one of us stops recording like just randomly. I thought it really could be exciting, but yeah, it would take a lot of effort.
It could be. That's the problem, isn't it? It's getting.
You'd need commitment as well from listeners, but
I'll tell you what, Sean. I will do. I don't know how you guys work, but I will do a test episode with you, as though we're locked in a shop and the zombie apocalypse is outside, and I'll do all the audio work.
That's amazing. I'd love that. That'd be brilliant.
It's worth watching. Do it. You're locked in a supermarket. And I watched a video recently. I forget what channel it was, but it was all about how long could you actually survive locked in a supermarket. And it was like, what foods would you eat first? Would you, because obviously with no electricity, so all your frozen stuff's going to go off. You need to make sure you get through the meats first. What can you preserve? When do you use your tins? What do you do with all your waste? Can you use your waste to then grow stuff? It was really good. It was like, can you last 80 years?
Yeah. This is the thing. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Like as this progressed, yeah, we could record one episode in a supermarket and like just place it like, well, we're locked in here.
Well, this is the thing with like The Walking Dead. They tend to spend the season in a situation, like in the prison or on the road or whatever, and then in each of the different places. So
one episode would be like a proper conversation about, right, this is what I've got, this is what the plan is, and then the next episode could be 6 months down the line about like what's happened since then, and like them with discussing something else, like, okay, well, now they've completely taken over, we've managed to set up camp in this area here, like, and it just what I wanted is for it to be a ridiculous contrast between episode 1 and the finale episodes, like the last couple of episodes, like them actually being like what Alex just said, like, having sound effects in the background of like the last couple of episodes, it just being complete chaos.
And instead of episode numbers, you have day number.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I'd want to do with that, because there is some skipping ahead in time, so I'd want to have one episode called like day 30, and I'd want another episode called day 120 or day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That would be each episode would be that. It would tell you what day you're at.
Yeah,
I like it. All right. Well, there you go.
But it's proper establishing that world though. The first couple of episodes, nothing's going to happen. We're just friends talking.
That's the problem. I would love to do something like that is like come up with something that has this ongoing story, but I sit down to try and write something like that and I just have a complete block. So you need someone.
Well, no, we wouldn't write it.
To even get the, because you've got to have just some certain story beats as you're going through it. You've got to get that prepared.
Do like what Larry David does. Have a backbone, the structure.
And everything's
we need to get from
exactly.
You're. I mean, we play our own. I always thought of it as we play our own characters would be ourselves.
Yeah.
But like we'd have like, okay, this episode we need to get from A to B. And A is one plot point and B is another plot point, and we'd just be aware of that.
It's role playing without the dice, then, isn't it?
100%.
Why not?
100%.
How about we start the first episode, Sean, where we're both just chatting on Skype, and then the zombie apocalypse just starts to begin.
See, not even because I always thought of it as like an audio thing, but if it was a video thing,
no, just audio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think if we were to do a video episode though, what I'd like is like for it to be as discreet as like one of the first couple of after it's established that something's going wrong, like all that happens in one episode is just the lights flicker and that's it. Like throughout the whole thing, I want it to be. Like the idea for it was for it to be really, really subtle, and then for it to just descend. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You just got to be wary that people need to make it through the first episode. Be like, nothing really happened.
Yeah, and I think if we do it, and this is the thing, if we do it for us, I think that's good. That's a good reason to do it. But if people get wind of where it's going, they'll listen to the first couple of episodes. They'll get to know. Like, I'm thinking about some of the people that listen to us that have got to know us, like, and that message us. Like, for them to be in that kind of mindset at the start, and for them to think that this is a normal podcast, and then for it to descend, is really exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's establishing characters and a world in the deepest kind of way, because that's what podcasts do, right? They immerse you into someone's story, to someone like people that are listening to this. They're immersing themselves in my journey over the last couple of years in a very natural way. But to do that in a fictional world, to me, is really exciting. But it needs to be established, like really deeply established at the start.
I can see where it would go. It's like I went to watch A Quiet Place 2 this week. Like, to be fair, I'd never seen the first one. I didn't have that much interest in it because I don't really like horror films.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, I just wanted to go and see something at the cinema, and there was not much else on. And I thought, it sounds interesting. So I watched the first one the night before and loved it. Like, it was far more Walking Dead than, The Exorcist or whatever, or Halloween. It's not that sort of horror film. It is like, I say I don't like horror films yet. I watch like every series of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and everything. And I came away from that and the second one, and I was thinking about, like, if this happened, what would I do?
You do? Yeah.
And I thought, that might even make a good podcast.
That's the beauty of those kind of films that set rules or ground rules. Like, I love that about horror, is that how do you kill the demon? How do you survive? Yeah. What weapon would you choose from the lodge? Would you go for the axe or the fire poker or whatever? I love that kind of thing.
And they're the discussions that we'd have. Like, that would be one episode, is talking about weapons.
Exactly.
A whole episode, because we're in that world. So that world is important now. We need to talk about that stuff.
The most impressive thing about that film is how they build the entire world within the first 20 minutes of that film. Like, have you any of you guys seen it? You've seen it, Alex? Yeah,
just the first one. Yeah,
Red.
I'm definitely going to see the second one.
No,
I've seen the first one. Like, love the first one.
Yeah. So to fill Sean in quickly, then basically, there's these monsters, and they can't see anything, but they can hear everything. So they have to be, all the survivors of this apocalypse have to be silent. So the first sort of 10 minutes shows you everything. It shows them walking around, really, creeping around a little convenience store, getting some supplies, and they've put sand, like paths of sand everywhere they need to go, all the way through the woods to their farm, because then they can walk and it'll be really quiet, things like that. It's so clever. One of them, the mom in the film, is pregnant, and they have to work out how they're going to make sure that the baby doesn't make any noise, because the minute there's any noise, the monsters come and they'll kill you. So they make this box that is completely soundproof, and they get a little oxygen canister, and they feed the pipe in so they can put the baby in the box and turn on the oxygen. So if the baby's crying, they can just put it in that, and it's dealt with. It's so clever. Yeah. But I was thinking, the minute I go to sleep, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Because I'm snoring. Like, it's absolutely, like, they talk about natural selection, and these animals survive because they've developed these differences. Natural selection there is anyone who snores.
Yeah,
is absolutely screwed.
I'm exactly the same. But the only thing I haven't thought about, the only thing I haven't really landed on, because I know I'd want to use Nerd as a diving board frame to sort of start the story off. It would be something like, the Steve Show, where I'd be like, right, okay, start a new podcast, guys, and we'd just be chatting. But I want it to be a subject at the start, so I'd want it to be like a gaming thing or something thing. So just to do that mislead for the first couple of episodes, you know what I mean? So and just start it with, because
it could be your pod that never happened, No Scrubs.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Alex, we were going to do a podcast called No Scrubs, KNOW. Scrubs.
And
it was
this
going to be basically we'd watch episodes of Scrubs and talk about them, which is what they do about every TV show nowadays. But the name came first.
And what I was going to do was give, just in advance of each podcast, is give you and Reg like, you might not have one. At the first episode, you're probably not going to. It's just going to be like a normal episode. But you'd have a plot point. You'd have something that had happened.
Yeah.
That you'd bring up, and that would spark conversation. But like initially, it would be something like, because it would be news report to start off with, right? And
that's it. We're watching an episode of Scrubs, and then it cuts off halfway through, and they're like, even Netflix turn off their service and put on Netflix.
We could talk about
whatever.
And we could talk for 20 minutes about how clever it is that Netflix has this emergency system that we didn't even know about.
Can I just stop you here now then, and let's not talk about this anymore on this pod, because we've been going quite a long time talking about, hey, let's do this podcast.
But I get your argument against it being, worryingly not attractive for the first, if we do a really slow burn. That
wouldn't take long to get into, to then cut off and be like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I can't express how important I think the slower the burn, the better. Like genuinely 5 episodes.
I agree.
You gotta go to the right curry houses, mate.
That's what makes this unique. That's what makes it different. Anyone can do a zombie podcast. This one's established.
I like it. So, Reg, how are you?
Sorry. Hi. Are you all right? Are we still talking zombies?
We knew as soon as Sean was going to be on an episode, we wouldn't have to worry about thinking of things to talk about, because we could just let him go.
Sorry.
No, but I got a notepad, because I genuinely thought for the next 72 hours I was just going to be spoke at about cryptocurrencies. So I've got a notepad and pen in front of me, thinking,
what to make notes?
If I ever have a spare, pound, I might
put it in Safe Moon.
Safe Moon.
Safe Moon. This isn't financial advice, but buy Safe Moon.
You can say buy whatever you want, because I genuinely don't have a spare pound. But I just thought, but no, it turns out he's just given away the entire plot about his new podcast that he wants to do.
Only the pilot.
and the general theme.
And the general premise of everything's going on.
Yeah. So
spoiler alert, guys.
It's going to be like Volcano and Dante's Peak, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
On podcast.
Well, we know that Edgar Wright listens to this podcast, so I'm sure he'll steal it. Do some.
I wish.
Hi, Edgar. The cryptocurrency thing I haven't really talked about, but I did.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
All I'll say is I'm out now. I'm out with the.
I'm out.
It went really well. I'm still in for a small amount in Safe Moon. So if that takes off, then we'll recreate what I've already done, which is nice. But I've managed to
bought an island in the Maldives now. You don't really need to do anything else, do you?
I bought a robot lawnmower and I've paid off all my debts, and there's still a substantial amount left. So it's gone well.
How's your Tesla?
Oh, I love the Tesla. They keep adding stuff like this is okay. So in my job, I've learned a lot about development, how software development works, and how you have like a board that you work from that's like a planning, implementation, development, all this. And there's a point to what I'm saying. So there's this feature that they've added to all Teslas that came out in a software update that multiple teams must have been involved with. The people that do the voiceovers, the speech recognition, the people that do the motorized thing, the people that send out the software updates. Lots of teams must have been involved in this. And from what I can tell, apart from bug fixes, this was one of the only solid features to come from this new update, this new software update, which took about 20 minutes to download and about half an hour to install. And it is, if you press the voice recognition button and say open the butthole, it'll open your car's charging port.
Oh my god.
That's a thing. That's a thing that multiple people have been involved in.
What did you think when you first understood what it was? Did you think that's amazing?
When I first found out that's what the software update was? I laughed out loud because it's so fucking typically Elon. Who's
and how many times did you
head
press?
case.
How many times did you do that command?
It's one of the things that I show people now. Like when I'm showing off the car, I'm like, "Watch this! Open the butthole."
And you've done exactly what it needs to do. Get more actual presence out there, because the amount of videos that have gone mental with that, I bet, is insane. People showing it off, so much free advertisement just from doing that one thing. Very clever.
They don't really need to. This is the thing, though. The second they get someone in that car, that person's going to be like, "Oh my god, check this car out," because it's good. Autopilot's my favorite feature. I had to.
Good luck with that.
I think I spoke about this. I had to borrow a petrol car a couple of months ago because I went through a puddle really fast and it broke the bottom of my car. It wasn't. It was
a puddle in England, and I can't use it now.
It was. I mean, you should have seen it. It was proper like. I smashed the bottom of the car basically with water.
How deep was the puddle?
I didn't see it. It was a good I don't know, 3 foot, 2-3 foot. It was deep.
Okay.
I lost control. It was over Christmas. It was when the rain's really bad. But I was going at about 70, and I just smashed into this basically lake. And were you trying
to splash someone?
No, I genuinely didn't see it. I've got it on video somewhere. So I ripped up all the bottom of the car. Anyway, I got. They lent me an I-Pace which didn't have the autopilot, and I genuinely felt unsafe driving.
Because you had to remember how to use
my lane positioning is terrible, so I can't just hand it off to the car. I kept forgetting to check cars in front of me, so there was a couple of times I nearly rear-ended people on the motorway. So it makes you lazy. All the driving I do now, almost I'd say 90% of my driving is on autopilot.
So you drive your car like that scene in Bird Box.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of other films that I could probably compare to. I haven't seen. I was thinking more like Minority Report, not Minority Report. iRobot.
Wow.
You know, in iRobot, where they're like, "Look, it's dangerous to take it off autopilot." That's me.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But
you forgot the fundamentals, basically.
I mean, my lane position's always been terrible, but it allows you to be lazy. Also, it can stop a lot quicker than I can. So there's been times before when I've been the latest one. I was going past Trafford Centre. I was going over over that big bridge where you can see the mini golf, the dinosaurs and stuff. And of course, I was looking, wasn't I? And
ooh, dinosaurs!
I was distracted by the dinosaurs over on this big bridge, and the car fucking slammed on. I didn't realise that there was a queue in front of me, so it
Jesus Christ.
Slammed on. But yeah, I mean, even if I was watching it, there's so many times when I have been paying attention and I go to slam on and the car's already on the brake because it moves.
I wonder whether you weren't paying as much attention because you knew the car would help.
Absolutely. I do trust it more than I should. I mean, I'm not sat there on my phone, but no. I just know from experience that it goes to the brake pedal much quicker than I do.
Nice.
Wow.
Awesome. Did you guys know that it was apparently today, it was 25 years ago that The Rock came out? The movie The Rock. Not The Rock, The Rock.
I take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
The movie came out.
I'll tell pleasure in gutting you, boy.
I take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
Are we having a quote off?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. You don't
remember that scene?
Yeah.
Reg, let's hear your try. Brilliant. Yeah, that's good. Reg wins.
Tony Todd, Candyman's in that.
Muted and then not muted, but now the moment's gone, so it's all right.
It had.
There's a scene in a lighthouse with Tony Todd, obviously Candyman, and Nicolas Cage, circling this fucking VX poison gas rocket, and he's talking about, have you heard of Rocket Man? And Tony Todd says, I don't listen to that soft ass shit.
Sorry, just thinking about Nicolas Cage, one of my favourite lines is Con Air. And he's sat on the plane and he's just fucking threatened that guy, the rapist guy, and he leans over and he goes, he goes, do you know what I am? He turns around and goes, ugly all day. It's absolutely brilliant.
He's having I don't know who he's having a fight with in that film, but he's like slamming someone's head against something in the plane. He goes, "Don't treat women like that."
Yeah. It's the same guy. It's what's his name from?
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo, that's it. Yeah. Ugly all day.
And he's got like a tattoo for every. This is awful. This is awful. He's got a tattoo for every woman he's raped on his arm. It's awful. It's a ridiculous movie, and that was out when it was National Cinema Day, and every ticket was £1.
Yeah, I remember that. That's when I got covered in mud. You don't remember that?
I went to see.
We must have gone to see it together, Sean.
Yeah, we did.
I went to see Space Truckers. I then went to watch Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and finished the day off with The Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element. We watched that as well, Sean.
Honestly,
I loved that when it was £1.
When me and Alex were going to the cinema together. With everyone else from school at the time, our little friendship group, that's when cinema was at its best.
It was amazing.
You had films like Dante's Peak. You had Independence Day.
You can't say cinema was at its best and then mention Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak's fucking amazing. Are you kidding me?
There was Dante's Peak and there was Volcano, and they're both out at a very similar time. And Volcano was infinitely superior.
100% wrong. Absolutely
better.
not. You had Mars Attacks. Do you remember going to see a Mars Attacks? I remember having the poster.
I saw that when I was in Minneapolis.
Oh, it was just.
I'll tell you.
That era of film.
I've got a great Nerd OD story for Nerd OD of that very friendship group, Sean. I think it's myself and Pete Carville, who's a writer. He's based in Berlin now, I think it is.
Yeah.
And we all go and see. Basically, I think the consensus was, let's go to the cinema. Let's stand outside. It wasn't the Epic, it was the Odeon in Chester.
Odeon, yeah.
And we looked at the posters and thought, right, let's decide what we're watching. And there was a bit of a fractious group at one point. It was either between Marlon Brando's The Island of Dr. Monroe.
Oh, geez.
Brilliant.
Or it was...
Dodged a bullet there.
Or I definitely dodged it. I don't think Sean did.
No, I watched it.
Yeah, exactly. You watched it. And Pete Carville and myself, we decided, let's go and watch Michael Collins with Liam Neeson and Alan Rickman.
I still haven't seen it.
About the founding of the IRA. And that's fucking superb.
To this day, Alex, I still haven't seen it, honestly.
Well, Sean, we need to report back to each other, Sean. You watched Michael Collins. I'll watch the Dr. Monroe.
Was that on the £1 film day?
No.
Because I remember watching that.
It was Fifth Element and Con Air, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching Con Air in your house and people getting very drunk and killing fish in your fish tank with a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw Con Air because I wasn't old enough.
You've seen it now, though, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm not a big fan, to be honest.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Yeah. I remember having an argument with one of my friends. Yeah. My friend was insistent that we should go and watch Broken Arrow, and I was like,
"Oh my god,
I'm 14. It's a 15 rated film. I can't go and see it." And they were like, "It'd be fine. We need to go and watch this film." I was like, "I know it looks good, but I'm not old enough."
One last thing. I'll promise this is one last thing about Connor and Nicolas Cage's hair is that when we were watching in Sean's house, I remember someone ramming the bottle opener. It's like a screw one with the arms, like bottles of wine and whatever. Yeah. They stabbed through the door in Sean's house.
It's because they were locked in the kitchen. Someone locked a guy called Pete in the kitchen. And they were holding the door, and their head was right next to the door. And then this fucking bottle opener just came ramming through this door, nearly hit the guy in the eye. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like that episode of Friends when Chandler's head's up against the door and Joey drills through it.
You don't get me. You kill me.
So I had a point about The Rock, by the way. It wasn't just a random hey, did you know?
Love the film, love it.
But I think the reason this article went up is because they were like, hey, it's 25 years old, and I'm going to show you how I've spent 6 months of my life analysing this film and proving once and for all that it is actually Sean Connery's final James Bond film. So really? It's been a fan theory for ages. But this guy was like, I'm going to prove this one way or another.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to read this entire thing, but it's fascinating. It's on Reddit. If you just search for The Rock, You'll find it on Reddit. But basically, this guy has broken down. He's looked at when Dr. No came out. When he's taken the fact that in Dr. No, he goes to the Jamaican embassy, and he's found out that the Jamaican embassy was only open until this year, and then it closed. So the film must have been set before then. And based on that, he was in the right place at the right time to then be going over to America, where he'd have been arrested for spying for the British government, and he got thrown in Alcatraz. 6 months later, he broke out, and then he went back and worked for the British. And then after all this happened, it's fascinating. He dots every single I, crosses every T, prove this could have happened. The timelines all line up. And John Mason, which is the name in The Rock, is basically, they say that he says that's his code name. And he even goes down the whole theory of people who say that James Bond isn't a real name. It's each actor is a different person that they then give the name James Bond. He says no, it's not. It's the other way around. That James Bond, they are their own James Bond. None of them actually sort of are linking together. We're talking about Sean Connery being a James Bond, and that is his world, and then Roger Moore's his own one. It's amazing. And reading through it's one of those conspiracy theories. I'm like, yeah, this is rubbish. And then by the end of the article, it's like, this could be. This actually sounds like it. And it even ends with, he posted this thing on Reddit. And actually there's a video on YouTube as well where he goes into even more detail. But someone commented on it and said, where are we? I found an interview with, or a behind the scenes thing from The Rock. And where is it? Someone found an interview with Michael Bay from 1996 where he says, this picture shows that James Bond can age and he can still be mean. One day when we were filming, Sean came up to me and whispered, you know what I'm doing? I'm getting to be James Bond without being called James Bond. It's kind of fun to kick some ass. So, that's even the director himself confirming it is an unofficial James Bond film to tie up the story of
That's
Sean
amazing.
Please send me that article.
Okay, I will do. I'll pop it up. I was like, this is amazing. I wish I could have sort of cut out some of the important bits and paraphrased it a bit better for you guys. But go and have a read. It's great.
I remember seeing that film on my own. That's how sad it was, but I fucking loved the movie.
It was good. I mean, I think even back then I was wary of Michael Bay films.
Yeah.
So I avoided that and Con Air and anything like that. And then I watched it years and years later on TV, and I actually really liked it.
It's so ridiculous.
There's a couple of Michael Bay films that I actually kind of enjoy. It's not a lot.
13 Hours. Have you seen that?
Doesn't ring a bell. Who's in?
Yeah, John Krasinski's the lead actor. It's like an action, but it's based on a real story. It's only a few years old. It's very, very good.
Oh, I don't know that one. It's the one I really like is The Island. The ironic thing about that,
Xbox.
It's technically not. Yes, that's right. The Fighting Arena, sponsored by Xbox.
Yeah,
I really like that film. But when I mentioned to someone about that, I was like, I know Michael Bay makes terrible films, but I really like that. And he goes, "Oh, that's because it wasn't a Michael Bay original film. He ripped the idea off from an Italian film or something called this." And apparently it was. There was a court case about it and everything. He completely ripped off the story from someone else, which is a shame because, like I say, I think it's a great film.
Can I ask you guys a completely random question about a different movie?
Yeah.
Go on.
And it's been something I've personally hated. It's a continuity error in Jurassic Park. Now, do any of you know about this ridiculous continuity error with the where the goat's standing?
I read all about this about a week ago on Reddit and fell massively down the black hole of random shit going down in Jurassic Park.
It's absolute. For me, where the goat's standing is where the car goes over where the T-Rex is standing. Right, it's the same area. There's no kind of wide area, but then
this is when the T-Rex is about to attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the rain, it's one of the best scenes in action in any film. It's a brilliant
It's
scene.
where he doesn't eat the goat.
Exactly. No, he obviously
the goat disappears, doesn't it?
It's the best. it's the best mix of CG and animatronics ever, I think. You know, the windows and then the windscreens, the CG, genius. So when the car goes over the side, where's the land gone? Because it's this giant cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a Reddit fan theory or something, I'd like to read it, because it just all the land just disappears.
Have you seen? There's a video on Reddit that where this guy's going around with the camera recording all the places where Jurassic Park was filmed. How he managed to fucking find them, I have no idea. But
use the internet.
No, this is the thing though, right? Because it's all in the fucking middle of nowhere. It's like the middle
not necessarily.
of
but a lot of it was filmed in Hawaii.
You can actually go visit it.
Yeah,
if you go on
a huge ranch. You know, the log
website.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of it is just like landscapes and stuff, and managing to be at the same place where the trees line up to where the camera shot.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do like it when people do that. They take the still from the film and hold it up and take a photo of it with it lining up. I think that's great.
That's exactly what they were doing. Yeah. It was really clever.
Yeah, most of it is on that ranch in Hawaii. So if you go there, literally, it'll take you on a tour. So you know. You might take a while setting up the shot, but even the point where you've got the log they hide behind when the Gallimimus are running and jumping over them.
Yeah.
That log is there, so you can get your photo sort of hiding behind the log.
Nature's weird, isn't it? The fact that they haven't moved that log yet. Like...
I mean, it's probably not a real log.
It's fiberglass.
I'm guessing yeah, exactly. I would. I would be like, this is a worthy investment. People are going to pay a fortune for this.
Yeah, and they're right, because the tours are fucking well expensive.
Exactly.
Are they really expensive?
Yeah. I can't remember what we were looking at it for. We were looking at it for something. And it's something like, just for, you think you're allowed an hour and a half in the actual like mini island bit where they take you on a fully guided, like you're not allowed to get away from the pack of people you're with. You're allowed up to 10 people on it per turn, and it's 175 quid for the hour and a half to go and do it. And you can go back and pay for, I can't remember what it's like, an extended tour with another dinosaur person, and that's like $359 or something, to go and do that, and that's only for another 2 hours. So if you tally it up, if you want to spend a full day there to get all the shots from the films, you're talking about, I think they worked it out, it was something like $2,500 or $3,000 just to do the Jurassic Park tour. That's without accommodation, food, flights, anything. That's just literally to go, hey, can you show me that tree over there? Hey, can you show me the grass here?
You get driven around in a gas-powered Jeep. Because that's how they describe the cars.
Just not painted. They couldn't get the copyright. But you can also see where the Lost Beach and stuff is. It's all the same place.
What?
And the bamboo forest and whatnot.
Oh my god, Lost.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I was thinking Lost Boys. Sorry, I fucking love Lost Boys.
Oh, that's another thing. So, sorry, we were discussing this before the podcast, but if you haven't watched it yet, please watch Raya. It's absolutely brilliant film.
Oh yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Completely beautiful. One of the main characters, Raya's dad, is played by Jin from Lost. Yeah, Others.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
He's a great actor. He's funny.
Just to box off your Jurassic Park conspiracy theory thing, the error. I will prove it one way or another for you by going and playing Lego Jurassic World, and I'll get to that scene and I'll find out.
Yeah, please tell me if it's on this giant like Star Wars lift which brings the goat up and there's land or some bullshit like that.
I'll do it because that scene is in it.
That's really funny.
See how they've got around that problem.
Well, next time you watch it, just check that out and go, right, okay, how does that work?
Yeah, no, you've ruined it for me because I've watched that film so many times and I've never thought about it.
Like, that film is genius.
I remember going to watch The Sixth Sense, and I got to the end of it and it finished, and I was like, oh, yeah, great. I didn't see that coming. And my mate was like, oh, I can't believe you didn't realise. It was so obvious. I knew it straight away that. I'm avoiding saying what it is, like I'm going to spoil it for people, but surely everyone knows. But yeah, and I was just like, well, I just didn't think about it. I wasn't sat there thinking, I wonder what this twist is. I wonder if this. I was just watching the film. I was just going along with the film.
Yeah, you're enjoying it.
You don't have to be like, it's all well and good finding the little bloopers and the flaws in the films, but yeah, I've never noticed it because I've never thought about it.
There are people that go into films, especially when you go to the cinema. You can hear them in the foyer area that go in with that kind of mindset about picking something apart, and it's like that you're missing the whole point of cinema, to be enveloped, the immersive story.
100%.
And I really, if a film really hooks me and I don't think about anything else, don't look at my phone, whatever, you're you're gonna really enjoy it. And it's really sad when you like, I don't look for things like that. It's just like after the billionth time I've watched it, I've noticed something new. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's crazy.
I've talked about this before, and I'm sure on an earlier podcast. But one of the things that I'm really glad I can do is get emotionally involved very quickly in TV and film. There's some TV shows I'm not interested in, but others like completely take me. Most films, especially if I'm at the cinema, I'm just engrossed from the off, and I can get into that world. It's something I enjoy doing, but it will always be one film that I remember took me out of that space and yanked me out of that space, and it was Suicide Squad, because they used the Suicide Squad font for the subtitles. It was I know it sounds ridiculous, but
the subtitles pop up like a bit more comic-like, don't they?
Yeah, it's the same font that's in the poster. It's like sort of ripped up text in that kind of color, and because of the fact that they're not using like a generic font to, because I've seen films with subtitles before without getting dragged out of the moment, but it was just like, remember, this is a film. It's like, what? And I just remember that feeling of being pulled away from being in the moment to it being like, oh, okay, hang on.
See, I like when they do things like that, like when in Heroes, when Hero was talking in Japanese and the subtitles weren't just coming up on the bottom, they were coming up like as he was talking, they were appearing around his head, things like that. I like how that was clever. I remember that.
But they're not trying to pull you out of the moment there.
I suppose it's more
they make
like
it part of it, don't they?
The moment of it. This is a comic type story. That's the idea with it, really.
Tony Scott did that really well in Man on Fire with the subtitles in that film. They were part of the character, like in Hero in that scene. It was just like, right, how are we going to use this to create another layer, another dimension to the film? And I think it's very clever when they do that right. But like, I totally agree with Sean with the subtitles of that film. It just like pulls you out of it. Like in my example of that
I was never in it, to be honest.
Is have you seen X-Men? Is it Brett Ratner's X-Men film? Is it the third one?
Well, Last Stand.
Yeah, there's a scene where they all get into like a blue sports car and like NSYNC is accidentally put on the radio. I'm like, if you do anything to try and, basically, that just pulled me out of a fucking X-Men film, and it was the worst. It was like, right, okay.
Any sort of product placement in a film or TV show ruins it.
But isn't it interesting though how like our like joint favorite movie, which is a film that aims to pull you out of the film and does looks to camera and does little gestures to audience, does it because it's intentional? You still stay part of the story. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of which, it came out. It got re-released last month in the States, didn't it? Dolby, Dolby Vision or whatever.
Atmos,
it is getting a limited release at the end of this month, and they're only showing it in like London, Glasgow, Birmingham, and Manchester.
Can we go?
So the Manchester Odeon, I think the print works. No, that's View now, isn't it?
That's where I saw it the first time.
I used to work there.
Yeah, I know.
Nice. I can't remember which one, but wherever there's an Odeon around Manchester, it's going to be there.
Maybe Trafford Centre.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I went to see it on my birthday last year because it was one of the films that got a bit of a re-release anyway. But I'll go and watch it at the cinema 1,000 times. It's just so good, especially on the big screen. Yeah, just a little aside, worth going.
Right. I think I've chewed your ear off for long enough.
Yeah. Reg, you got anything to add?
I'll save it for next week, mate.
Sweet. I'll tell you all about Final Fantasy VII then.
For the seventh week running, you can tell me all about it because the Intergrade will be out then. It comes out tomorrow.
Of course,
and then you can tell me all about it. That'll be fun. And I'll tell you lots of outdated stories that have just happened.
About what? Oh, stuff that's just happened. But
stuff that's just happened that'll be really outdated that were quite funny. But,
sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about my holiday in Wales.
Yeah,
nice.
Abroad, your holiday abroad. An idiot abroad.
Yep. Hey, what? Huh?
Alex, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
My pleasure. And Sean, we're definitely going to do the Con Air commentary.
Yeah.
You and I watch it together. We'll have it have the so basically people play it along with Con Air.
Yeah.
And we'll rock that, mate. And we should do something with Alan, Dr. Monroe, and Michael Collins as well.
Please do.
Still haven't seen it.
We will take as many podcasts as you guys want to put together.
Amazing.
Yep, I might even fund for the booze for you, just to turn it to a drinking game one.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Could you imagine The Rock and Con Air, like, drunk?
That's what happened with Con Air in your house.
Yeah, I know.
I kept rewinding that scene where the petrol station exploded and he jumps out of the petrol station.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks,
my pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, Reg.
Fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me, as always. Glad I could bring so much to it.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes that's nice, isn't it? You just, be part of it and listen and just...
It is. I've managed to catch
put in
up
your
on
2
some
cents
work.
every now and again. Yeah.
And I've watched the hamster clean himself.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a thoroughly good hour and a quarter.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
hope you've enjoyed yourself.
It's been fun.
I have. All right. Thank you for listening. And yeah, keep an eye out on Friday for our wonderful episode of Nerd IQ. And also,
it's a good one.
Obviously, today technically is Wednesday because that's when this pod comes out. Loki came out today. Everyone go and watch Loki, and then we can talk
really
about
good.
it next week with spoilers.
Yeah, it was really good. I watched it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah. I love that bit. We'll talk about it next week.
Amazing.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.